Hi everyone. So this March for Women's History Month, I will have a video every week where I highlight 5 incredible women that you might want to know more about. I'm going to share some books from our collection that you could come in and browse, or you can place holds and check them out. So be sure to look for the link with this video and you can see the list of books I'm going to talk about. I'm going to try to keep it short, just whet your appetite a little bit. So this week's theme is Women in STEM, Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math. And the first woman is Temple Grandin. And this is a book about her called Temple Grandin, How the Girl Who Loved Cows Embraced Autism and Changed the World. And this book is by Cy Montgomery, who's a really famous science author and animal lover herself. So you might have heard of Temple Grandin because she is autistic and she's a very famous autism advocate. She's written and spoken a lot about her mind and how her mind works. But what you maybe didn't know about her is that she's also a really famous animal scientist who helps create cruelty-free livestock facilities. So I really like this book because you're going to learn a lot about her history and her passions and her journey to having this incredible career. There is a little trigger warning in this book, though. There is a lot about livestock farming in it. So, and all of the things that entails. So if that's not the kind of thing you like to read about, you could choose a different book about Temple Grandin. There are some other great books about her as well. The next woman we're going to learn about is Marie Tharp. This is a book about her called Solving the Puzzle Under the Sea. Marie Tharp Maps the Ocean Floor. It's by Robert Burley and was illustrated by Raoul Colon. Do you love to look at maps? I know I do. I love looking at maps and atlases and trying to think about what it might be like to visit different places. Well, Marie Tharp also loved maps. Her dad was a map maker and she grew up traveling around the country with him. And then she grew up, when she was an adult, she became a very famous scientist and map maker. She helped map the ocean floor for the very first time. And her work helped prove that continental drift is real, that the Earth's continents are in different tectonic plates that shift around. So if you love maps, if you love beautiful artwork, if you love science, and if you love learning about interesting people, I think you'll really love this book. Next, I want to share with you a book about Dr. Mae Jemison, and this is called Mae Among the Stars. It's by Rhoda Ahmed and was illustrated by Stasia Burrington. Dr. Mae Jemison is one of those incredible female scientists who can claim a lot of firsts. She was NASA's first African-American female astronaut. Then she became the first African-American woman in space. And then when she left NASA and she started her private career, one of the things she did was a little bit of acting. And she became the first real astronaut to ever be on an episode of Star Trek. I love this book about her because it's written for a really young audience. So you learn about Mae and you learn about all the incredible things she accomplished in her life, but mostly it focuses on her as a young girl. And it's the story of having a dream and following that dream and following your passion. It's very inspiring for little kids. Next, I want to share a book about Wu Qiansheng. It's called Queen of Physics, How Wu Qiansheng Helped Unlock the Secrets of the Atom. And it was written by Teresa Robeson and illustrated by Rebecca Huang. I love this book because I learned so much about a scientist that I'd never heard of before. Wu Qiansheng is another scientist who has a lot of firsts in her, after her name. It's a big list of them here on the back of the book. She was the first woman to be hired as an instructor at Princeton. She was the first woman to be elected president of the American Physical Society. She was the first person to receive the Wolf Prize in Physics. And of course, amongst all these things, she was also the first Chinese woman to accomplish any of these things. She is really important because she helped play a big role in our understanding of how atoms work. And atoms are the building blocks that make up everything in the world. So if you want to learn more about her and more about physics. I highly recommend this book. And last but not least, I wanted to share a book about Ada Lovelace. It's called Ada Lovelace, Poet of Science, the First Computer Programmer. It's by Diane Stanley and illustrated by Jesse Hartland. Did you know that Ada Lovelace was the first computer programmer? Guess what? She wrote the first computer program over 150 years ago, before computers were even invented. Wow. Do you want to know more about how she did that and what that even means? You'll have to check out this book. She was a really creative thinker and an amazing mathematician. And she was a young woman at a time when women weren't really encouraged to be in those fields. But she ended up writing one of the first computer programs ever. So you can learn a lot more about her in this book. And we have a few other books about her as well if you get really interested. So those are the 5 women I'm featuring this week. Join us again next week where I'm going to share 5 women who helped make history. And then we'll do another week where we feature 5 women in sports. And then we'll do another week where we feature 5 young women who are changing the world. So I hope you enjoyed this. Be sure to check the link to get the book titles. See you next time.